Hey everyone, today I'm thrilled to introduce the latest firmware update for the RØDECaster video, packed with fantastic new features and improvements to take your workflow to the next level. We've added some powerful new tools, including the Switch to transition setting for video playback, a new scene audio feature, and auxiliary routing options that open up a bunch of possibilities for your project. Plus, we've rolled out a number of other improvements as well, like transitions for overlays, flexible recording modes, more control over auto switching, and a file recovery feature that is a total lifesaver. So let's dive into the details. First up, the Switch to feature. When playing a video file, you could previously choose whether it plays through once or loops indefinitely. But we've added a third option with this new update. With the Switch to setting, your video will automatically switch to another scene or input once it finishes playing. This is perfect for things like intros and cutaway segments, as you won't have to manually switch back to an input or scene right as the video ends, which can be tricky to get the timing right. This switch will follow your current transition settings. That means that if you have a 1-second fade transition selected on your RØDECaster video, your video will start fading to the next input or scene when it has 1 second left to go. To set up the Switch to feature, connect your RØDECaster video to your computer, open the scene builder in Rode Central, click on the media button that holds your video, and choose Switch to from the right-hand menu. Here you can choose which input, scene, or other media file it will switch to from the drop-down. We'll show you an example of this in a little bit. Next, let's check out Scene Audio. This new feature lets you assign a set of audio channels to be automatically muted every time you switch to a specific scene, input, or media file. So, if you're on a video podcast or a panel show and you want to play a video for your audience, this feature means you can automatically mute all your microphones when you switch to the video, and then unmute them when you switch back. For solo streamers, you could set up a Be Right Back screen that automatically mutes your microphone and plays looping background music when you switch to it. Scene Audio will even follow your cut or auto settings, which means it will either mute and unmute instantly or fade in and out with your transition timing. To configure this feature, open the Scene Builder and click on any of your scene, input, or media buttons. On the right, click the Scene Audio dropdown and simply toggle which audio channels you would like active and which you would like muted. When an audio channel has been muted by the Scene Audio feature, you'll see it has an amber mute icon in the audio mixer. This is just to show that it's different from a normal mute that you manually toggle, which is shown by the red icon right here. Scene Audio mutes that you've set up will be overridden by any manual mutes that you toggle, so you don't have to worry about a channel magically unmuting itself. Next up, let's take a quick look at an example of how the Scene Audio and Switch to features can work together. So as you can see, I'm talking to camera right now, but in a second, I'll hit one of the media buttons to switch to a video clip I've loaded up. When I switch, my microphone will automatically mute and the video clip's audio will unmute thanks to Scene Audio. And when this video ends, it will automatically transition back to this shot thanks to the Switch to feature. All right, here we go. And we're back. As you can see, these two features are incredibly powerful. They not only boost the production value of your show, but this kind of automation makes live switching a whole lot easier. Moving on to auxiliary routing. This feature unlocks a whole lot of flexibility with your RØDECaster video. Essentially, this update means you can now directly send any of your 6 video inputs to any of your 3 video outputs, rather than choosing between your program, preview, and multi-view feeds. For example, this means you can send the HDMI 1 input directly to the HDMI A output, effectively converting it to a through port. But it also means you can send specific inputs to your computer via USB, or set up a display that's dedicated to monitoring just one of your cameras. Now, let's say you're dialing in a guest on your podcast with a video calling software like Zoom. With this feature, you can directly send your main camera, the one pointed at you, the host, to the USB output, and then send that to Zoom. This means that on your guest's end, they'll only see your camera when they're chatting to you, rather than the full program feed of your entire production. To access this feature, head to Settings, Video, then HDMI A. And you can now see you'll have a few more options here, specifically camera 1 through 6. You can also access this in Rode Central, under Device Configuration, video, and then outputs. Taking a look at the RØDECaster video's graphic overlays now, we've added a fade option alongside the default cut, so that you can decide whether you want it to appear and disappear instantly or gradually. You can enable and tweak this setting in the scene builder. Just click on the overlay you'd like to adjust and choose fade in the transitions drop-down on the right. Next to it, you can adjust the fade time, and this will be totally independent of other overlay settings, as well as the global transition time. We've also added a new setting to our powerful auto switching feature that helps better tailor it to the overall pace of your show. When you head to the setup menu, you'll now see an extra toggle in the top right here, allowing you to choose relaxed, neutral, or fast. If you've been using the auto switching feature with your production, but found that it was switching too frequently or not frequently enough, this setting will help you fine-tune the rate to better match the energy of your show. We've also introduced the option to record your program feed in either normal or high quality, with different bit rates suiting different uses. If you plan to upload directly to YouTube or other platforms, or just want a smaller file size, then the normal setting is more than enough for your needs. If you plan on doing more editing with your program recording, then the high mode will give you maximum quality for maximum flexibility. This setting records in the same high bit rate as your ISO recordings. This is incredibly useful if you're mostly happy with your program recording, but want to correct any mistimed switches. You can load the main program and ISO recordings into your video editor and just use the ISO files to patch up those problem switches, all while keeping the scenes, overlays, and graphics from your main program recording. Last, but certainly not least, we've introduced a safety feature that could completely bring your show back from the brink. If your RØDECaster video loses power while recording, or the hard drive gets disconnected, you'll still be able to recover and use the MP4 recordings in most media players. And that's it. As always, we're eager to hear your feedback on these features and what you'd like to see next. And remember, be sure to keep your RØDECaster video updated so you can take full advantage of these new features and others in the future. We'll see you soon.